openness, wilderness. The Awake Shop by Rev Skip. Inspiration you can wear. Hats, mugs, hoodies, and tees. Visit theawakeshop.org today. You're in the flow with Rev Skip. Faith, love, openness, wilderness. Hey everyone, it's your boy Rev Skip, and welcome to In the Flow right here on the New Thought Media Network. If this is your first time, we invite you to like the broadcast or the podcast and make sure you share it so we can spread the word. And I do not do this by myself. In fact, I have a brand new co-host that I want to welcome him into the space officially as my new co-host, Chad Bradford. Get in here, my friend.
Rev.
Chad.
It's so good to be here. I'm so excited.
It is very, very exciting to have you in the flow. Yes. It just worked so well last week. It was like, oh my goodness, this guy needs to be my co-host. So thank you for saying yes.
Of course. It's like it's really one of those things. We talk about manifesting. We talk about and here's our second co-host. This is my cat Strudel. He wanted to come and say hello.
We love Strudel. We love Strudel already. And speaking of co-hosts, our co-producer has a pig. He has a pig.
Yes,
that's his he has a pig. Winston, come on in here, Diego. Let's talk about Winston the pig.
You want to talk about Winston Churchill?
I want to talk about Winston Churchill, dude.
Well, good morning, godlings.
Hey, well, let's talk about the pig.
Yes.
Why a pig, yo? Why a pig?
My wife, when we first met, as soon as we first met, she started letting me know she always wanted her own pet mini pig. So one year, one of the very first Valentine's Day, that was my Valentine's Day present to her.
Wow, that's
what
beautiful.
Says I love you more than a pig?
I could list a few other things, but that's okay. I won't go there. Diego, how exciting is it to have our new co-host with us?
I'm super excited.
Is that amazing?
What a great pair you guys make.
Yes.
Yes.
What does your wife say about you taking on this calling of you becoming a podcaster with me? What is Sharon saying about that?
Well, I tell you, we talk about manifesting. We talk about kind of career. You always say transformation is a choice. It's one of those things that I think about, and I've when I heard you the first time on the podcast, it's just something stirred within me. And, it's what we do. We think about it. We put our emotions into it, and then we just let it go. Right. Yeah. And so that started to happen. And so she's very supportive. She's great.
Very good. And our spiritual director, our creative director, Rev just dropped a note into the feed for you that says, "Welcome to the New Thought Media Network. So good to have you in the flow." So that is a message directly to you, my brother Chad.
Awesome.
Hey, Diego, I want to say
thank you. So
you're
glad to
welcome.
be here.
Diego, I want to say that you, for some reason, was trying to get out of the morning banter for so long. You have your exit out. So I want to just thank you. I want to thank you for you brought me into this network, you and Rev Briz, and you said, whatever you decide to do, yes, it's a yes. And when I said to you, I want to bring Chad in as a co-host, it was absolutely a yes right away.
Oh, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Just like you were saying, Chad, it's all what we're manifesting.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Diego. We'll see you on the back end.
All right, guys. Have a good show.
All right. So, hey, Chad, let's just chat a little bit.
Thank you.
The acronym FLOW for us. And are you wearing a FLOW hoodie? What are you wearing? You are wearing the FLOW hoodie?
Yes.
Right on.
I had to go to the Awake shop and get my own merch here because I love it. When we've worked together, Skip, being able to find a way to get into the flow, get into a mindset where we are open, where we are willing, and we are,
Absolutely. FLOW is an acronym. We say it's faith, love, openness, and willingness. In the word faith right now, where are you landing with faith, with everything that's going on with your life? New baby coming into your life. You and Sharon's having a new baby. How is faith? How important is faith to you?
It's pretty much right now. It's how we have to. We just have to go by faith because there's so many unknowns. We're already starting to have some of those late night talks of how are we going to make this work? How are we going to make that work? And we just have to lean into faith. And last night I just had a moment where I lied down in bed and I just put it all on the altar to God, just like it says in Course in Miracles.
That's right. Laid on the altar. And because if we allow it to happen, that's all we are required to do is to allow it. We don't have to make it work. I remember Kathy Ann Lewis, who's one of my practitioners and one of my mentors from Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle. She said to me, God does not require us to work. And I'm always thinking, I need to work a little harder for God. I need to work a little this for God. God does not require us to work. And I always took that to heart, that we're here to allow these miracles to happen and to manifest as you were talking about. So officially, I want to welcome you, my brother from another mother.
Thank you.
And yes, I have a little jealousy on your beard game as I'm growing my beard back in. Brother, you're looking so good. All right, y'all, let's do this. Oh, yeah, it's time for the Wellness Wake Up. And today's Wellness Wake Up comes from our yoga practice. Let's put this up on the screen here. It says, the practice of yoga will introduce you to your true nature. Chad, you're a yogi. I'm a yogi. How many times have your true nature showed up on the mat in the middle of the poses, yo?
Yes, I tell you, doing it shows you your true self. It shows you kind of where your edge is, right? I mean, that's one of the things in a lot of our practice. It's like, and some days my edge is just about 4 or 5 inches above the floor. Those hands aren't coming down, but that's okay.
My yoga teacher once said to me, I don't know if this is the same thing, but I see it coming up when I'm practicing. She said, if you're already an impatient person, when you get on the yoga mat, it's going to really show up your impatience or whatever you are working on in that week will show up on the mats,
Yes.
And where are you practicing?
Right.
Where are you practicing? Are you practicing at home or are you going into studios these days?
Oh, it's all at home right now. We're still dealing with a lot of things with the pandemic, and also it's just nice to be at home. I feel like once we got out of this reset, we were just shot out of a cannon. We're just going and doing and going and doing, and so finding time to just be at home and making that time sacred. One of the things that I had a dear friend, and I was telling her about, some anxieties I was having with fatherhood. And she said, really, you don't have to do anything. You just have to be present. You just have to be there, and you have to, she says, the baby's going to eat. That's what Sharon's for. That's what the mother's for. Your job is to be present. And I found that really reassuring.
So your practice is teaching you to be present, and that's what yoga does. That's so cool.
Yes.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yes.
So let's get down. But to get down, we are going into our quotable ponder. And today our quote that we are pondering this week is from our guest, Harold Payne. And I love this. This is my favorite Harold Payne song and my favorite lyric, and I sing it all the time. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Dude, is that an affirmation or what?
Yes. I love it. Well, and, speaking to, we go back to things like affirmative prayer and declaring it to be so in every moment. Yeah. So, and if you can do it in song, you get your emotions behind it. It's going to be even more powerful.
And it's also a reminder, Chad, it's a reminder that no matter what I see on the outside, something wonderful is happening because I'm one in God. I am spirit in the flesh. I'm the divine. And that's the wonderful that we require to remember in all of our life, So I sing that song quite a bit when I'm not feeling so good. I'll just break into song, it's a powerful reminder. Yes. So it's time to bring our guests, and I'm going to read a little bit of his. I'm going to bring a little bit of the bio. I'm going to bring it in, but we're going to get to know Harold Payne firsthand. So this is what his bio says. Los Angeles-based Harold Payne is a multi-platinum songwriter, TEDx speaker, and master improviser who has written songs for such diverse artists as Rod Stewart, Patti LaBelle, Ron Woods of the Rolling Stones, as well as longtime collaborator Bobby Womack. Oh, I love me some Bobby Womack, yo. And literally from Peter, Paul, and Mary to Snoop Dogg, OGG, hey. I love me some Snoop. His specialty is creating custom improv and summary songs for special events in person and virtual, as well as the keynote concerts where he reinforces his message with original, positive, uplifting songs. That's Harold Payne, y'all. Beautiful. Let's bring him into the mix and let's get down with the get down. What's happening, brother?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Great to be with you guys. Your energy is palpable.
Thank you. This is the best fun I have. I have 2 times I'm really over the top less. It's here and also on the Tuesday show on Unity Radio, online radio with Faith Rivera and Jackie Fernandez, Reverend Jackie Fernandez. That's when I get to have so much fun. So I feel those 2 bookends, Tuesdays and Fridays, is fun day. Yes. I want to say that Chad's a big fan of yours. Chad is a big fan of yours, Harold. He's been following you.
I'm honored with all the talent and experience that he possesses. I'm honored. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, if those of you, it'll be in the show notes, but head to Harold's website because you can see him give a TED Talk that is just phenomenal. And I know that we're going to get into a lot of things today, but one of the things that you say about your improv and music that I feel like is a great principle for life is preparing the table for happy accidents. We're not out there making things happen. We are preparing the table, preparing our bodies, our minds, and spirits. And I just thought that was a beautiful thing to think about when we're playing music, but also just living our lives.
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, the talk is called Preparing for Spontaneity, and that's definitely part of it. Obviously oxymoronic sounding, but it really is about, if you play an instrument that you don't really play very well, then you go, ooh, what's that? And a large part of songwriting and improvisation or whatever is, ooh, what's that? And going with it, saying yes.
Yes.
Saying yes. So I always love to begin this, conversation with a simple question. How have you been living throughout this pandemic, brother? How's this pandemic been influencing you?
I've been extremely fortunate in that I've been doing a lot of online shows, and I started in April of 2020 doing Facebook Live. So I started once a week, and then about a month in, I started doing it twice a week, Two Song Tuesday, and then it's basically stories and songs. And I learned a lot because I found that people like the stories as much as the songs, especially when you're doing something on the internet. You can't feel it as much, and so just playing songs only is not as effective as it could be in person. And not that you wouldn't tell stories there too, but I mean, the stories it's been like a 50-50. And the other good thing about it is that I've been planning to do a solo show about kind of my life in the music business and being happily under the radar and that sort of thing. So here I've got recording videos of all the things that I've done, and I can go back and say, well, this was cool and that was cool, and so it's allowed me to keep my sanity to a certain extent by performing and interacting with people, and to see them interacting with each other. It really has helped me keep my chops together. And during a large part of it, except when it got really bad, I was still performing occasionally outside, and I'm still doing that. For a while, like you said, when we got shot out of a cannon, I was doing more of the indoor things. And now I'm pretty much, keeping it at the outside venues and virtually. But I was really fortunate in that, I have a little space where I can do that, and I was staying in touch with people and I do a lot of these custom song gigs, and I did many of them online, where they give me all the information. It's everything from a special birthday to a corporate event where they have, the 8 VPs of the company, and I'm doing a couple lines about each one of them. And then I do the recap improv, and I did a couple events where I just came on in the beginning and did like a kickoff sort of a thing for a 4-hour event, and then in the middle I did like some improv stuff just to kind of to break it up a little bit, and then at the end I would do a recap song about everything that went on in the show.
It's very powerful.
Yes.
Powerful.
So, and I've been doing the National Speakers Association LA chapter. I've been doing a recap of each speaker that comes in. That's been virtual for a while. So it's daunting, but fun.
That's great.
I love you talk about risk and kind of danger when you're writing, and how you're kind of almost inviting. I wonder if you could talk about how you invite that kind of inspiration into your work, because sometimes when you go up there with no script or no song lyrics, it can feel kind of dangerous.
Yeah, to me, I feed on it, and I listened to your last week talking about the woman Sam that was on, and she was talking about when she goes into a prison or one of the other places where she has no idea what's going to happen. To me, I love that. It's like, deliberately throwing myself into the lion's den, but it comes from to me, it's experience becomes confidence, becomes trust. And it's that when you do something, it's like the 10,000 hours thing that,
Yes.
that you put in. And when you think about it, when we're speaking, I use this as an analogy. I mean, from the time we were 1.5 or 2, in my case, probably 2.5, I was pretty late bloomer when it came to speaking, but I've made up for it. But right now I'm saying something I've never said before with gestures and intonation, and I'm trusting it's just coming. I mean, when you think about how amazing that is, that I'm just talk as fast or slow or want or what any subject, and so in the same regard, but without as much time doing it, doing improv, and for me it was gradual. I call it plank to bridge.
Yes.
You walk out that plank a little bit further, and it becomes a bridge to the other side, because you've taken those steps towards it. And so I know that you said that you saw my little TEDx talk, and so you've
Yes.
heard me talk about some of these things, and it's really it gets more engaging, and you go, okay, I'm going to take the next step. For me, it was gradual. It started off with forgetting lyrics and coming up with other
Yeah.
people.
That will do it. That will do it.
And the show must go on, and then you got to say something, And then people would come in. I'd see a T-shirt or something, and I'd just throw in a line about it. And then I played at a place where there's a lot of birthdays, and so I started making up little ditties for birthday instead of saying "Happy Birthday" 20 times a night. And then people started sending up notes saying, "Hey, my cousin is here from Georgia, and he's a carpenter, and his wife is a massage therapist, and they fly
Start
airplanes."
writing
Okay,
songs. There you go.
and so it just, and the trust factor came in stronger and stronger with each time that I did it, and then I started asking for titles from the audience, and that was another level up. And then I do observational improv, where I just see something happen, and I would just go for it. And then I started, when I play in places, I'll talk to somebody for a little while, and I go back up to play, and I start doing a song about them, and they go, "Wait a minute, that's us,"
No,
And
I would love to just jump in here for a moment and just tell you that I've been on the end of that. I have been speaking at spiritual communities, and Harold's been the music inspiration. And I will sit down, and Harold will jump up and to sing, and he is just improvising on my message, and I'm going, "That is so dope! That is pretty amazing!"
I remember that's when I met you.
That's right. That's right. Harold, you are a songwriter, but you're more than that. So we like to ask these really big, broad, open questions here in the flow.
Okay.
Who are you? Who are you? If you have to answer that, what would you do? Who are you?
Now that's pressure. Improv is nothing, but this is.
Who are you, brother?
Well, I'm somebody who is very fortunate. Let me not put it in the third person or second person, whatever that is. I am very fortunate to be doing something I love all my life, pretty much making my living doing it, and someone who I call it living life in 3D without the glasses. It's you discover. I was fortunate enough to discover what it was that my gift was. It took me a few iterations. I thought it was football for a while, till I got too many knocks on the head, and then it was music, and then that took over, and to be able to discover something that you like to do, and that you're reasonably good at, and that you can make your living at it. That's the trifecta to me, and then to develop that over years and years of playing every imaginable venue that you could possibly think of, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And all of it was transformative in terms of me learning my craft and feeling comfortable in any situation. and then to basically the third D is to distribute it or disseminate it to the world, whatever it is that your gift, and to use to discover and develop those gifts, and then give them to the world and use your gifts for good. The first time I ever made a mission statement, it was I was kind of a late bloomer, but it was like not in high school or college. It was later on, and somebody, it was like a New Year's kind of, all right, what are you going to do this year, and what is your mission statement? And I realized that I said, this was maybe I was 30 at the time, a couple of years ago, to touch as many people's lives in a positive way with music.
Powerful.
And
Powerful.
Really, as it's very simple.
Yes.
But that really is who I am and where I am and what I do. And sometimes the smallest iteration of that is enough to 3 people over here and 2 people over here, or somebody. To me, positive music is making somebody feel better going out than when they came in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it's as simple as that, and I always feel that there's always a redeeming moment whenever I play. It could be as small as somebody giving you a thumbs up as they walk out the door, but all of it is leading in that direction. And then, getting into the improv world just made that easier for me to touch people's lives instantly.
Yeah, Chad, you had a question you wanted to ask our guests.
Yes. Well, in kind of just chatting before the show, how you get into, there's almost like a dual consciousness, I feel like, when you're doing some musical improv, because you are taking in information, you're processing it, and then you're turning it into something new and putting it out. And I was saying I've done a little bit of musical improv here for Improv Little Rock and joint venture in North Little Rock in Arkansas. But I always get stuck playing the 1-4-5. I just, I fear to venture out in faith the way that you're talking about going out on the bridge there. So what is going on for you as you're receiving? You are calculating and you are putting things together, and then there's output.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the musical part of it, it's sometimes I deliberately, like on Tuesday when I did my improv, I was talking about different tunings on the guitar, and so I just changed one tuning, and I said, and I was demonstrating. I said, for example, and then I went right into it because it takes you there. And so it's just every level of comfort further and further allows you to say, okay, I'm going to play in B flat just to start there, or I'm going to start in a minor key or whatever. And it actually invites more creativity if you trust it enough to having walked down that plank that little bit further. But so for me, it's usually and I have some patterns that I use. I ask what musical style. If they say reggae, I've got 3 or 4 reggae grooves that I do. It's like, since I have my guitar, it's like,
give us a little bit of reggae, man.
There's this one, or there's I maybe pick one of those that maybe I've done before or whatever, or if they say rock, or if they say, bossa nova, and I get in that zone and it pulls me somewhere.
Where's my music? I'm getting my dance on here. What?
But so it's, as far as what I'm thinking at the time, I mean, it's like I've written so many songs. It's just writing a song with a quick deadline. Yeah. But it really forces there's a hyper focus that happens. That pressure where the show must go on. You got to do it. And one of my favorite quotes, which you might have heard in that talk, was a guy by the name of I'll think of his name in a moment, but a famous songwriter, and Sammy Kahn. And they asked him, what comes first, the words or the music? And he said, the phone call. So it's that sort of the
Yeah.
pressure
Yes.
situation
Yeah.
where, okay, but for me it's either I hear a title and my songwriting brain comes in and I go, okay, most songs, have a central theme and the chorus has that in the title and the verses, all roads lead to the chorus. It's like it's the punchline of the joke and everything else leads to set it up. It's the setup.
Yes.
So in my brain, I start going, okay, how can I set that up? And if it's, and oftentimes I like to go the opposite way of what if it's something that's like off color or something, I'll take it the way they didn't intend for me to go, or vice versa, and the other mode that I go into is one that I have no idea where I'm going to go.
And you let
And
spirit guide you.
Absolutely.
And that is a perfect thing that we are learning to do in our spiritual awakening.
Yes.
Is learning to allow spirit to guide us. So,
Absolutely.
I got to ask, because this is a spiritual show. We want to talk
Yep.
about your spiritual awakening, because I first came in awareness of you through Agape International Spiritual Center. On your website, there's Kyle Cease there. Has this been a part of your spiritual awakening and your journey of becoming enlightened to your connection with spirit?
Yes, I mean, I would say that when I first kind of became really aware of it, my brother Larry is a well-known yogi, and he kind of brought a yoga therapy to America pretty much. He started the International Association of Yoga Therapy like 30 years ago, and he had this incredible thing which I wish would have kept going forward, called the Karma Awards, where he had this big event and they gave an award each year to all the complementary medicine people, and it was voted on by all the people in that community. It was a wonderful event. In fact, the Reverend you were talking about from Agape was there. This was in the early days, and because of all Larry's connections, and I had this arthritic condition which could have been, really bad. And Larry, gave me to all his connections. That's why I brought up the Karma Awards, because he had all these complimentary people. And one of them was a place called the Upledger Institute in Florida. And they had all these different interdisciplinary things, from somata release to seeing a psychologist to massage to, all these different therapies all together in one place. And I was there for 2 weeks, and it was plus for me it was a trade, because I played music for them, and so I got to be able to go for free, and I went twice, and I started to see how all of it kind of blended together, and then I was doing my instincts are to be a pretty positive person and pretty optimistic, almost delusionally so, and so I've started a little label for myself and my group, Gravity 180, and I thought I want to put out a sampler album that it has some sort of theme to it, because I'd heard that concept-oriented marketing. And so I thought, what is the central theme? And I looked back at all the songs I'd been writing, and it was positivity. So I put out and at that time, positivemusic.com was available. This was pretty early on in the game. And so I started this little label, and I put out a thing called The Power of Positive Music, Volume 1. It was a compilation of myself and the lead singer in Gravity and the group Gravity, and we made this compilation. And I thought I was going to, and there was an organization called, a label, Wyndham Hill, that was a new age
I remember Wyndham Hill.
Yeah, and they had all these really
Oh my goodness.
cool artists. But the thing
Liz
they
Story.
did,
Yes.
yeah,
George
and-
Winston. Yeah. Those
yeah,
are-
exactly. And there was a guy from Amsterdam that Vollenweider, Andreas Vollenweider. I loved his music.
Yes.
And they did these tours, and they didn't even say who was going to be there. It was a concept tour, and I thought, wow, that's so cool because people know what all the acts are going to be like, and so I thought I want to do this same sort of thing with putting out the music and also setting up a tour. But I realized that I'm not as much the administrator as much as I'd like to see that done. And all of a sudden, I found through Faith Rivera turned me on to Empower Music and Arts. It wasn't called that at the time. And Empower Music and Arts basically were about doing the same thing, including an awards event, a Positive Music Awards, touring, a concept touring, and putting out an album every year with all these songs. I go, this is great. I wanted to see it happen, but I didn't necessarily want to be. But anyway, all these things were bubbling around, and when I put out this album, there's a woman named Susie Ogden, who's a New Thought minister in Oklahoma now. She's also a singer. And she was also the person who booked people at this thing called the Inside Edge, where they had speakers and musicians come. And she said, this album, you should be playing at these New Thought churches. I go, what's a New Thought church? This was about 20 years ago. And then, I really liked the idea. The thing that spoke to me more than anything was the open arms. Everybody's welcome here. And, you don't need there's no ID required for spirituality. No hall pass.
Wow, that's a quotable moment. That is a mic drop there. No ID required for, I love that. And I know, Chad, you have another question you wanted to get in before we get into some music.
Yeah, I didn't mean to ramble on.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. Chad, go ahead and jump in there.
Yes, well, talking about positive music, talking about all of the things that you've been doing and going forward, and going down this journey, have you thought about how it all works together in kind of creating a purpose? If you were to say, what's my purpose? How am I serving the planet? What would you say, perhaps?
Well, it doesn't stray too far from my mission statement. As humble and simple as that is that if I can every day make people feel a little bit better, then that's really a large part of my purpose. As simple as that is, for me, it doesn't need to be any more grandiose than that. And I've always felt like I didn't need to have huge fame or anything like that, but to have a constituency of people that can support me doing what I do, so I can continue to, when I do a custom song for somebody and I take all the information about their life and go in and do that, to me it's so fulfilling and rewarding that, and on that small level, just like the light refracts from us to other people, it's just my way of tag teaming that positive energy, around the world. One receptor at a time.
I love that. I know you're going to sing for us, but I'm almost like going, I want a custom song about me and Chad.
No problem.
Okay. So we do have our yes moment coming up. You expressing spirit, but we're going to give you time to sing a song and do a custom song for our new partnership. Myself for In the Flow here on the New Thought Media Network. So we're going to turn it over to Harold Payne. It's your time to shine and shine.
Oh well. Just to be clear, a custom song. Is different than an improv song.
Okay,
a custom song is where I get all the information in advance.
Okay.
So yeah, there's the custom song, which is that where, like, you say, all right, Harold, I want you to write us a song, and you give me all the information,
Okay.
background, and you know, and then of course there's the recap song where I'm
Right.
taking notes, and you know, going right up after, and then there's a total improv where you go.
So which one are you going to give us? Which one are you going to give
Well,
us?
actually, last night, just for grins, I'll give you both if you want.
Okay, this is your
Great.
time. You're good.
I'll play a little bit of, you know, I listened to the podcast, and I heard you talking about, yes, you expressing spirit. So I didn't have time to think of a melody, so I have no idea
Okay.
where this is going to go. But
I'm so excited.
I did write down some lyrics.
Okay.
Awesome.
You expressing spirit deep in your soul. You can hear it inside of you, guiding you to where you're meant to be. Each of us has our own truth, emerging, growing, somehow knowing where it's leading to. You expressing spirit, sometimes going places where we fear it, saying yes with no regrets, finding our own way. The road may have some twists and turns, but eventually we will be right where we belong. Call it spirituality or advaya non-duality, whatever your individuality desires. Light your own fire.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't know how that was
Wow.
gonna.
That was so dope, man. I'm so glad we're recording this because I got to listen to that over again. That was so amazing.
That last line, I didn't know how I was going to end it, and I
Amazing.
just the light your own fire was improv. But
You know, Chad, we need an applause button in this podcast, brother, because that was
Yes.
so good.
Fantastic.
I'm glad I watched your show.
Yes.
You know, the last one, because it gave me inspiration to know what you're doing. So last night I'm going, well, maybe I'll prepare for a little spontaneity.
I love it.
Yes.
I have a
And,
request. I have a request. You got to pick up your guitar again.
Okay,
I have one request.
okay,
Something wonderful. Just a couple lines of something wonderful,
okay.
please.
And I have to acknowledge that at the Centers for Spiritual Living in the early days when I used to go, there was at the end they would always say something wonderful is happening to me, and so and I never was able to find out who actually said that they used, and that's where the original inspiration for that song came from. So, but speaking of reggae. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body. Feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful.
Hey,
The short version.
I love it.
Amazing. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just
I
tapping
love
into
when you
all
were
the
talking
stuff that's done
about.
before. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, I love what you were talking about in that song and in you expressing spirit, the lyrics you wrote, this idea of things happening now and having to, when we are expressing spirit, that we are going to go into places that sometimes might feel a little bit uncomfortable. This idea that courage is not the absence of fear; it's seeing fear and going through it, knowing that it's right. But also this affirmation that it's right now. It's like our departed brother Wayne Dyer used to say, talking about, oh, it's coming. No, proclaiming that it's right here, right now.
Yeah. It's powerful. Hey, Harold, can I ask you, what is your favorite Harold Payne song?
The one I just wrote, but no, it's usually the last one. I would say the most enduring of all the songs that I've written is a song called "Music Speaks Louder Than Words," which I co-wrote and which I've ended many a concert with everybody joining in, because it's a simple sing-along sort of a song, and a lot of people have recorded it. And if I had to say that's my more enduring. And then there are other songs that I like singing, more than others sometimes, and sometimes it's just in the moment, and sometimes it's something that I just wrote. So it's hard to say,
It's like asking who's your favorite child out of all your kids.
That's right. Did I give a diplomatic enough answer? Yeah, I love all my kids the same.
Right. Oh,
but some of them more on different days.
I love it. Harold Payne, where can we find you live? If someone wants to have a little Harold Payne time, where can we find you live right now?
What I'm doing the most right now is, first of all, you can go to my website.
Yes.
Which is, there it is. Diego, you're good. That's all I can say. I go to my website and it's there. HaroldPayneMusic.com. And there's a calendar there. There's more information than you ever want. I've got my TEDx talk up there. I've got my little performance reel, and I've got a little thing that I did at a Kyle Cease event. It was just a minute and a half where I did an interaction thing with the audience. Call it Human Loops. Instead of using a loop pedal, I use the audience as my loop pedal.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So, and I did a bunch of things with Kyle Cease, which I don't know if we have time to talk about that. But
yes, please. No, we have time. Tell us about Kyle, please.
And if you want me to do an improv, take a title from the chat or from one of you guys to do a short improv to share with us, I will do.
We have time. We have time for this podcast, so yeah.
But Kyle, I was at a party at a friend of mine's house who set this up so she could have all her friends that she thought were doing something that was interesting, and bring them all in the same room at the same time. And they went around in a room, and everybody spoke for 2 minutes about who they were and what they did. A beautiful thing. And one of the guys there was Kyle Cease, who was a well-known comic. He won the Comedian of the Year for Comedy Central a couple times, and had done that whole thing. And he started getting more into transformational sort of stuff. And everybody around him said, "What are you doing? You're one of the best comics around, and you're doing this stuff." And he saw all his other friends getting into the TV series and stuff when he started going this other direction. And he started having events that was kind of transformational comic. And he used his comedy in a way to keep people's interest, and all the studying he had done and he was good friends with Reverend Michael and at Agape. And so he said, what happened at that party is, when it came to me, Lynn Rose, who was the person who was hosting the party, said, "Harold, why don't you do a recap of what everybody said?" I go, "Yeah, thanks a lot for giving me warning, And so I did, and he was blown away and said, "Look, you're doing what you do with music is what I do with what I'm doing, and I'd like you to come and do one of my events." I had no idea what his events were like. And so I show up at the first one, and it's at the Alex Theater in Glendale, like 1,400 people. This wonderful theater, and people lining up around the block. And he said, "Just come on, do what you want, open with anything you want." And so I just made something up. And then what I ended up doing was every couple hours, they'd bring me on. I'd recap what had been going on, and then I started doing improv, taking titles from the audience, and then I discovered some guy in my tip jar at a gig I was doing put a little ball in, this little hacky sack kind of a ball. And,
Mm-hmm.
And I go there, and he had this mystical look about him. There's some reason why this guy put it there, and I put it in my bag. And so I went on my break when I with Kyle, and I looked in my bag and I saw that. And I thought, this is cool. I threw it out in the audience and said, whoever catches it, throw it to one more person, and that person give me a song title, and then throw it to another person, and they can tell what musical style it is. That way, I wouldn't have to get people shouting out in this big theater, and it would verify the randomness of it.
Yeah.
And then I came with some other things. I had read a page from his book, and I said, pick a page and pick a paragraph, and I do that and read it and then do it. Found different ways to do improv. So
this is what we're going to do, though, Harold. We're going to drop this into the feed. Everyone that's online right now, if you can drop a title for a song in the feed.
Not something that's been done before, something you made of yourself, and I'm going to improvise a song, risking my reputation for your entertainment.
Okay, I love that. So if you're watching this live right now, if you drop a comment and it's something that's in there, the Harold's going to do an improv song. And now, if you don't do, inspiring harmony. Is that how's that? Can you do inspiring harmony?
Sure.
So I'm going to make it a little bit more juicy as improv, and Chad added and inspiring harmony and Chad. What are you going to add to that?
Let's inspiring harmony and let's say unicorns.
And
right,
I'm going to put my I'm going to put my hand on that.
Not too much.
Inspiring harmony and unicorns eating popcorn.
Okay. You're breaking all the rules here. You're just trying to stump the band here, I see. As the landscapers were outside making noise.
I'm like, what is that noise back there? But it's okay.
I'm going to shut the door here. Give me 1 second. Pardon me.
That's okay. And Chad, this has been so much fun, dude. We have gone everywhere with Harold Payne. It's been amazing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I just love it.
This is podcast home broadcasting. Since the pandemic, we've all been doing it so we can hear dogs barking and gardeners. Harold Payne.
Okay. When you have that many titles, it focuses it in a little too much. I'm going to go for it, but and to make it more daring, is there a particular musical style? Rock, reggae, blues, country, bossa nova?
Chad?
Let's do blues.
Okay. Give me the titles again.
It is Inspiring Harmony with Unicorns Eating Popcorn.
Sometimes there's a challenge that you try to rise up to. There's no way around it, so you just got to go through. It's Chad and Rev Skip and little old me, doing our best to inspire some harmony. I feel as individual as a unicorn, sitting around eating popcorn. Yeah. Sometimes you want hot buttered soul, sometimes you want rock and roll, but wherever you want to be, make sure to inspire harmony. Yeah. Wake up every morning with a vision of a unicorn, with the husks from the popcorn left from the night before. You guys tried to stump me good. Knock on wood, I'll make it through somehow. Yeah, make it through somehow. I must confess, I have time to say yes. And for all that acronym stands for, here I am, praying that I can make it to the end in spiritual harmony. Yeah, I swear this is the last verse. There was no time to rehearse. Ending too soon or too late, I'm not sure which one of those would be worse. You can't inspire harmony in me, 'cause I'm solo and that's impossibility. But together we are doing it right on time.
Yes.
It's not like me to be forlorn, talking about eating popcorn while imitating a unicorn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
That was
Fantastic.
amazing. Everyone, please give some love to our guest, Harold Payne,
Yes.
the dynamic, amazing, talented Harold Payne. And we've already mentioned it. Where can we find you, Harold, on your website? Just follow
Okay, on
you.
my website, yes, and that's the best place because I've got a calendar there with my just haroldpaynemusic.com with go to the calendar section there, and I also say where I'm when I'm doing my Facebook live shows, and those are really fun because when I do on Thursday, I take two of the songs that I do 2 cover songs, 2 originals, and 2 improvs.
Yes.
Wow.
So people put titles in the chat, and I do a couple of them. So I've got all these weeks worth of improv, and people give these incredible creative titles, not unlike yourselves. You know,
So
they don't
good.
try to jam me as bad as you try to. But
We have Sharon and Charmaine and everyone saying how good it was and how you made them laugh. Thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Hey,
My
Chad.
pleasure.
Chad, you when's your film coming out, and where can people find you on the
Yes.
web?
Well, you can go to chad-bradford.com, or if you want to find Voices Uncaged, that's voicesuncaged.org. Film's coming out sometime in the fall. If you're in the Central Arkansas area, you can come see Macbeth. That's the next project I'm working on
Wow.
Halloween weekend. So
Wow.
come and see me.
And Halloween's coming up, y'all. I can't believe where did this year go? We are coming up. I went into Starbucks the other day and I saw pumpkins everywhere. I went, no, I know. But
And Rev Skip, how about you? You can. It's okay for you to tout yourself. What you're doing.
absolutely. Well, I give a lot of information about Rev Skip at the very end. So you can actually get my book at my website, a little not shameless plug, the little book for Big Transformation. And that can be on Amazon and Audible. And I've done all the voiceover work for that as well. Also, you can go to my website and you can take me home without cooking me breakfast. Find out more information about my my newsletter. You can find more about my app called the Spiritual Life app, which I'm going to get Chad to be a part of as well. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be a part of my app. And you can find out more about the podcast we do with Reverend Jackie Fernandez and Faith Rivera on Tuesday afternoon on Unity Online Radio. It's just really empowering to have spiritually minded people together on this network. And this network, New Thought Media Network, continues to move forward by your donations. So if you would like to donate to New Thought Media Network, go to ntmedia.org/donate. Or if you want to give to my ministry, you can go to Venmo or PayPal and find me at skip@skipjennings.com. That has been the most fun that I've had in a long time. Thank you so much, Harold Payne, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
I really appreciate you. Chad, I love you. I can't wait to do this again next week. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And everyone remember, transformation is a choice. And hold on, do we have a special guest that's trying to get in there? I thought it was Rev Briz. Is he? Yes! Rev Briz! Okay, come in, Rev.
I was trying to sneak in after you all shut down and ended.
What's up? What's happening, Rev?
I've been sitting here just loving my brother Harold Payne is what's going on.
Well, thank you very
I'm
much. I
sitting
appreciate
here-
you for setting all the things in motion that you have,
Oh.
and including me in many of them.
And none of it would work without yourself and without Rev Skip, and now Chad joining the crowd and Diego in the back and all of us together. So it is a community that's making this all happen. And I've just been sitting here. I'm getting ready to go up to Big Sky for the Big Sky retreat this week.
Oh, yes.
And going to be hanging out with Reverend David Alt and a whole bunch of other great people. Reverend Dr. Michael God will be there as well. He's the music. So I'm heading up that way in a couple hours here. I've been sitting here getting all kinds of stuff together and just grooving to Harold Payne and you guys laughing and having a good time. Thanks for being here, sir.
And thank you,
Thank
Rev
you.
Riz, for what you do. And your yes allows us to say yes to what we're doing. And isn't that a CSL gathering, a retreat, right?
Not CSL specific, but a New Thought Gathering retreat. Yes.
Well, we are holding it down as the CSL ministry right here. And I am just so grateful for our connection. And we get to do this every week. So much fun. Thank you, Rev. Thank you so much for doing what you do. All right, everyone. So we are out until next week. And as we always end our podcast, we say transformation is a choice and you can choose today. God bless everyone. Until next week, be well.